What's up, guys? Welcome in. What's up, everyone? All right, so we're going to be doing a live Q&A. So if you guys have any dog trading questions, feel free to throw it in the chat. The reason why I want to do Q&As is because sometimes I get out of touch with where you guys are at, like training wise. And so if you guys have any specific questions or things that you're struggling with, let me know, and then I'll answer them. All right, looks like we got a couple questions already in the chat. So we got a question up here. My 14-month working line German Shepherd has a 95% recall off lead when there's no dogs, but 5% when around other dogs. What's the best way to de-arouse him and he's so excited? You simply just need to practice recalling off of other dogs. So get him around other dogs and then tell him to come. And when he doesn't come, you need to apply an aversive consequence. And then when he does come, the pressure goes away. And so the consequence needs to be sufficiently aversive to where that he's motivated to escape it in the moment. So he legitimately cannot ignore the recall. He can't keep playing with the other dog. He has to turn and come. And then when he does, the pressure goes away. And the next time he's playing with the other dog or whatever, and you tell him to come, he comes to avoid the pressure. So you basically just need to put him in that situation. Lucille asks, I have a Pomeranian. I can't use the collar on her as she is too fragile. How do I punish her when she doesn't listen? For me, I'll just use the micro prong collar. But yeah, you can do that. I like using the micro prong for the smaller dogs. We've got a lot of like small dog owners inside the community. Like we've got off-leash Pomeranians. We've got a couple. We're gonna have some off-leash Maltese very soon, you know? The important thing is like it doesn't have anything to do with how much physical pressure you use. Your dog just needs to avoid it. All right, Make Britain Great asks, my rescue is perfect indoors with people in restaurants and loads of dogs, but sees a single dog head and stalks to attack. Recall is now great with low distractions. What's best to do next? Well, it's a bit of a, you need to identify what the highest leverage move is you can do. So if you've got a dog with behavior problems, there's always a million things you can do at any given point in time. So you need to follow a system that tells you what to do next. So like, for example, how we train is we'll walk you through like a very easy order of operations. So like, how's their behavior inside the house? Good? Okay, good. How is their behavior on a leash? Can they walk on a loose leash? Good? Okay, good. Can they sit and down? Do you know how to do that? Yeah? Okay, good. You see, so like we walk through this basic order of operations. Like, is your dog getting enough exercise? Are you playing with him? Okay, good. All right, cool. Now, do you have a problem just around other dogs? They're reactive. Okay, that's the constraint. Perfect. We show you how to fix that. So it's just a matter of going through systematically and not getting lost and distracted by a bunch of different problems where you just kind of hop between problems but not actually make any progress. Luna the Dane asks, do you have any advice for getting dog training clients? And what do you think is the best way to do training packages? Um, yeah, I mean, how to get dog training clients? Well, people just need to know about you. And so you need to figure out how to let people know about you. So how do you want to do that? Do you want to do it on social media? By making content? Do you run paid ads? Do you want to do word of mouth, like people that you know? Do you want to do affiliates, like partner with somebody who is around dogs, who can refer you, like a vet or like a grooming facility or something like that? You know what I mean? So you just pick one that your skill set would best suit you for. And in terms of training packages, you sell a bundle of sessions. You never sell one off. Stefan said, I have a prong collar, but he powers through it sometimes. Use an e-collar. Gives you more leverage on the top end. Any tips on building a dog's confidence? Scared of humans and traffic? Yeah, to build a dog's confidence, you just need to expose them to controlled levels of stress throughout the training. And then you show them how to productively overcome that stress. So easy way to do that is through obedience training. Another great way to do that as well is play. And like specifically as well is more possession competitive type games between you and the dog, where the dog has to become physically confident in a way, right? Confident enough to bite down on the toy hard, confident enough to try to rip it out of your hands, right? This requires a huge amount of self-confidence and self-esteem on the dog's end. So that's my favorite way to build it. Tug. Let's see here. Jamie asks, hey Miles, thanks for all your input. Do you have any advice regarding our rescue dog being anxious, flickering lights, and loud noises? Her reaction is to avoid or sit down with her ears folded. Yeah, so I'm guessing you mean probably like inside the house. Yeah, I'm assuming. Maybe so, maybe no. But yeah, you've got a couple things. So, like, the first thing that you can do is obviously the big levers that you can pull is to change an emotional response towards a stimulus in the environment. In this case, the stimulus is the lights or loud noises. Is you've got classical conditioning or counter conditioning. So, changing her association with the thing. You've got habituation. So, just the repeated exposure towards the stimulus will decrease the response over time. So let's like for an example of each one of these is like flickering lights. Okay, you go over and stand next to the light switch and you're flickering it on and off. And every time you flick it on and off, you reward her. So this is counter. You're changing her association with the thing or the loud noise or whatever. So she predicts something bad is going to happen, and now something good is happening. So changing her association. Habituation is just the repeated exposure towards the stimulus, just over time. So you can imagine if you put her in a room and her light was flickering all day, every day, nonstop, all the time, always, or there was loud noises all the time, always, very quickly, like that emotional response would drop off because her brain is just a prediction. It's just a prediction machine. She's trying to predict and identify threats in the environment. So if her brain is predicting that something is bad is going to happen when I hear a loud sound, and then nothing bad happens or good happens after she hears a loud sound, very quickly her brain is going to get rid of that response. So all of the spike in heart rate, the spike in adrenaline, the spike in cortisol is all going to decrease over time because it's biologically inefficient. The other thing is desensitization. So desensitization is similar to habituation, but it's you are systematically exposing them toward the thing. So like if it's a loud noise example, you might make the noise quiet at first, or you might make the noise far away, and then you bring her closer and closer and closer to the thing. See, so habituation is more passive. Desensitization is more active. And counter conditioning is also active. But those are all tools that you can use. How to approach fear of children? That's a good question. Orbit, my border collie, he can get a little bit sketched out around kids. They're a little weird, right? Especially depending on the situation, right? So I'll give you an example. My cousins are really young. They're like 2 and 3, so they're really young, right? And when we were over and they were visiting, he was a little bit weird around them. He was a little bit unsure, and they were a little bit unsure of him too, which does not help. And so what we did was we got out of the house and we just hopped outside. So we're putting him strategically in a very favorable environment, right? Outside, there's lots of room, there's lots of space. He's not confined, he's not trapped in obedience or in a corner, right? And then the next thing we do to set him up favorably is I start playing a game with him. And this game does two things. Not only does it put Orbit in a very favorable emotional state, but it also makes the kids curious as to what's going on, right? Because when you're working with kids, you also need to watch how the kids are interacting with the dog as well. Because if the kids are really sketched out by the dog and the dog is also sketched out, it's not a good combo, right? You want them both to be interested in interacting with one another. And so your job as the adult or as the owner is to facilitate a positive interaction. So choose a good environment. I started playing with Orbit, playing fetch with him in the backyard. This got the kids interested. Oh, what's he doing? Wow, he's like really fast, right? Oh, I throw the ball and he catches it. Oh, And then I asked if they want to throw the ball. And they're a little bit nervous at first. And I'm like, just throw it for him, throw it. And then they, throw it. And then he runs after and catches it. oh, I celebrate. And then they are like, oh, and so they start mirroring how you're feeling when you're interacting with the dog. So they start to become more comfortable and confident interacting with him. And then and then you make it a little bit more, right? Throw it up for him to catch it. Wow, right? And then they take turns throwing the ball for him. And so when you're yeah, if you want to change how the dog feels towards kids, you need to look at how the dog feels before, like they're interacting with the kids, and then also during. How can you help create the conditions to where the dog is open and receptive to interacting with the kids in a positive way? So it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but that's basically how you do it. And leading up to that point as well, you need to have good control over the dog, right? That should go without saying, but you need to have like strong obedience, strong compliance. I mean, otherwise, in that situation, your dog will respond however they think appropriate, and they'll completely ignore you in that situation. They won't look to you for how they should be responding. Leslie asks, my 1-year-old barks and doesn't respond to quiet. She's easily distracted, especially by anything that she sees outside. She wants to go after. Teach loose leash walking. It's the first thing. Currently have an off-lead dog. One thing I struggle with is the distance she goes when she is free. She will go far. Is there a good way to communicate to stay closer vicinity? Yeah, I mean, there's several things you can do. I can tell you personally what I do. I just like Orbit. Orbit, when he was a puppy, like whenever I would release him, he would just run, like just run. He doesn't even really know where. He's just like running. And so what I did was I just went to like a really open park, and then he would run away, and then I call him, and I call him back into the heel, and I release him, and then he just run, and then I call him, and then I release him, call him back, 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 and then the bubble starts to shrink gradually. Now what I do is I just call him whenever he gets too far. I just call his name, and then he just comes back, and then he starts to set that boundary, because it's different in every environment. If you're on the sidewalk, you probably don't want him going too far, but if you're in a really big open field, it's probably fine if he goes further. So that's what I do. There's no dog parks in the UK, and people don't want to meet my German Shepherd because he rushes towards the other dog and has no manners. That's fine. Just go somewhere where there are other dogs around. There's lots of dogs in the UK. They stereotype him because he's energetic, but he wants to play. That's fine. Go where other dogs are. Go to a park. You'll pass by other dogs, and your dog will get distracted, and you can call him off. He doesn't have to be at the other dogs. I feel like because of my own reaction, my dog started associating prong collar with lounging on other dogs. Tip, should I stop the prong collar for now? I'm not sure how to interpret this question, to be honest. I don't know what you mean. How do we determine what a problem is and what is normal dog behavior? Through experience, all right? Through experience. It's like the art of dog training, right? Is knowing what you can change versus what you can't. Because when you try to change things that you can't, this is where you create problems for yourself, right? When you try to fit your dog into a box that they shouldn't be put in, that's where you unintentionally create problems. And a lot of people do that. So I think experience. How do I fix my dog from being reactive towards other dogs? I'm going to drop a reactivity video. It's a really long, it's kind of like a mini course almost, but I'm going to drop it for free on YouTube on Monday. It's like 2.5 hours. It's really in depth. So if you guys like in-depth content, it's coming on Monday. I have a 5-year-old female lab who has had barrier frustration her whole life. Recently started using a 2.25 Herm Springer on her after years of reconditioning, emotional responsive treats. Every time I correct, she runs to my leg to escape the pressure and then just keeps barking and lunging even if I correct it again. Yeah, it's because you're not actually punishing the behavior of reacting. You're negatively reinforcing the behavior of stopping. These are completely different things, right? But the video that I post on Monday will show you what that actually looks like. I actually give you an example with a dog who fence fights. Yeah, basically you need to learn how to actually punish the behavior. The big mistake that people make with reactive dogs is they think that they can just and this is partly because no trainer shows what actual punishment looks like on YouTube because they're afraid to. You see like these little pops on the leash that they give. Oh, my dog barks, pop, something like this, right? We don't do that. So, but the video on Monday will show you how to actually punish the behavior. Caitlin asks, my 6-year-old German Shepherd has started guarding me against my spouse. We've been living together for 3 years now, and it happens when my partner walks into a room I'm in, but only 25% of the time. Yep, that can happen. I'm not sure what the advice is here. The advice, first and foremost, is just to get some good functional training on the dog. And then also, too, you can have your partner start handling the dog as well. So he starts to perceive your partner differently. And then you can recreate this situation, but not without the other stuff first. 5-year-old male Aussie goes after our 8-year-old female border collie when she's too close to his bubble. Border collie is very timid and never fights. He's created place and has leash in our home. 5-year-old male Aussie goes after our 8-year-old female border collie. Border collie is timid and never fights. He's created place and has leash at home. High level advice. I mean, the easiest thing to say would be get control of each dog individually and then get them to control when they're around each other. It's hard though. It's hard to give like this type of advice on YouTube. It's not a good it's not a good not a good place for that. The problem with YouTube, right? Is like the problem with this is when I read your guys' questions, I'm taking your interpretation or your labeling of the problem, and then I'm trying to interpret your interpretation, and then I'm giving you my answer, and you're trying to interpret my answer. So this is the problem with lives, but it's good though. Love your videos so far. You seem genuine and straightforward. Best trainer I've seen. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. I have a friend who fosters currently and has a Pibble that loves her, loves me, but seems to have some fear in regards to her husband. He barks mostly. Any recommendations for something like this? He barks fear towards her husband. Yeah, start building a relationship with her husband. So start engaging in fun activities with them. Thanks for doing this, Miles. Really useful. I hope it's useful. If it is useful, I keep doing it. So if it's useful, let me know. Cooper says hi. What's up, Cooper? Are there any times when you use a slip leash instead of a prong collar? Almost never. Almost never. Unless I'm trying to like I'll use a really thin slip leash like a dominant dog collar if the dog is on an e-collar or if they'll redirect onto me. How do you deal with dogs jealousy between my wife and me? You mean like when you're interacting with your wife, your dog starts barking at you and stuff or like jumping at you? I punish the behavior. How to stop my dogs hitting each other? They don't play together for a full year now and they can't see each other. You just need to get them used to coexisting around each other so they don't need to necessarily be friends. Like Orbit and Arrow, for instance, weren't friends. Like you guys remember Arrow, the Malinois German Shepherd? Him and Orbit were not friends. Arrow was trying to be friends, but Orbit was just not interested. And so they coexist together. Like they can play side by side together, like with me. They can go on walks off leash together, like they live around each other, but like they're not friends, right? And so what you have to do basically is you have to set boundaries for each of the dogs. So it's like, hey, look, I expect you guys to behave around each other. Acting aggressive towards one another is not an option. And if they either one of them performs any behavior, they cross that line, you come in and you set that boundary. But then you give them opportunities to be around each other and engage in tasks where they're around each other. My dog drools profusely whenever we go in the car and eventually will vomit. Dramamine doesn't help and trazodone doesn't help. Is he in a crate? Should crate train him in the car. It gives him fewer options in the car. What's the e-collar and how does that work? It is a way for you to negatively reinforce and positively punish behaviors at a distance. Our dog is doing well with loose leash training and has learned some place command very quickly. She stays on her place reliably, but sometimes whines and barks while there. Any solutions? Yeah, you punish it. So the moment she offers that behavior, you mark it with no, and then you apply an aversive consequence to decrease the behavior. So that can be anything. It can be the leash, it can be you, it can be the e-collar, it can be anything. Anything aversive that gets her to stop performing that behavior. When in training, should the prong collar be used every time and all the time the dog goes on a walk? Thanks. Yes, in the beginning. So how we do it is like for the first couple of weeks, you're on the just leash and the prong. This is like your training wheels. You're learning how to use the leash, learning how to use pressure in training. And then we transition to the e-collar once you've got some basic skills and basic ability. And then you move off the prong collar and then you're just on the e-collar after that. First you're on the e-collar plus the leash, and then you get rid of the leash and you're just on the e-collar. So that's kind of like the evolution. What tools are required to achieve such an impeccable mustache? Dude, this is all I can do, bro. I can't do anything more than this. Oh, it's Tony. What's up, Tony? Do you have any quick recommendations for exercises to get my dog to focus on me more? In certain scenarios, she's locked in, but in others, she just isn't. It depends. Like, are you trying to play, or are you just like talking obedience? These are different contexts. So if you're talking obedience, like just out on a walk and you give her a command and she ignores you, that's fine. Like you just give the command and then she ignores you, and then you make a consequence. So it's impossible to ignore you. And then next time you give her the command, she does not ignore you because she does not want to experience that consequence again. You see, so that's different. Like that's a walk, right? But if you're talking like play and she's like checking out or something like that, like during the play because she's getting distracted by things in the environment, then it's a process, right? But first you want to build up the game first, and then you start training, you start playing in different environments. So like for Arrow, for instance, there was like, we built up the play really good in the backyard, and then there was a park across the street. And at first he checks out every 10 seconds because he's getting distracted by the smells and stuff. But we go there like every day. We're in the park every day and we play at that field every day. And then he starts to associate that field with this specific activity. And so he starts looking forward to that activity, the same thing that we're doing in the backyard. You see, so then it starts to transfer over. But it depends if you're talking about obedience or play. Let's see. Do you do training for individuals, such as a 1-week board and train? No. You can't really do anything in a week. In-depth content is so much more helpful. Nice. Yeah. I hope you guys like the in-depth content because that's the only type of content I know how to make. Every time I try to make a non-in-depth piece of content, it does not work out. So I hope you guys like the detail. How do you train a dog to stop barking when someone comes to the front door? I don't mind the protection of the house, but I want him to stop with a command or some other way before I open the door. Yeah. I think it depends. Like I can tell you what I do. So like for Orbit, every time he sees someone at the door, he's barking at them, right? Which is fine. Not a problem. Now, if it's like, someone I need to, someone I need to like sign for a package or something like that, then I'm going to be like Orbit place. And then once he's on place, now he's away from the door. Good. So I can sign the package in peace. And then also when he's on place, I expect him not to bark. So if he barks, I'm going to punish the barking. And if he gets off place, obviously I'm going to reinforce the place command. Right. But if it's like somebody we know, like a friend or something, then we just open the door. He's barking, barking, barking. We open the door, and he's like, "Oh, friend," and then he just says hi to the people. That's all I do. Do you teach the heel with treats or mostly with the leash? I've seen it done both ways, so I'm wondering what your take on it is. I do it both, both. So if the dog finds food reinforcing, then we'll use that during the heel for sure. But if they don't, then we'll use something else the dog finds reinforcing. So maybe just releasing them to the environment, or maybe playing with the ball, right? So whatever it is, whatever I can use to motivate the dog, I'll use it. But then I'll also use the leash to negatively reinforce the position, which you do need to do if you want it to be reliable. Kyla says, my anxious dog is reactive to a dog that lives in my building, even though they used to be friends. She hears her barking. She hears her barking every day downstairs and is set off. She loves dogs outside of our apartment. Yeah. So it sounds like she's fallen into a bit of a self-reinforcement loop. So engaging in this behavior for her has become just reinforcing. It's almost like she's waiting for it, right? Here's the dog's barking, boo, and that's it, right? She's just like waiting for it, and she gets something out of it every time she does it. So what you need to do there is you actually need to punish the behavior. So if the behavior is self-reinforcing, you need to apply a consequence that's more punishing than it is reinforcing, so that she stops doing it. The hard thing is you need to do it consistently. And then when she doesn't bark on the next time, you can reward it. Open source dog training asked thoughts on Ivan coming out and saying jackpots are BS. I don't know. I didn't hear about it. You mean like jackpot rewards? I don't know. I don't know what his take is. What did he say? Was he like reinforcement is reinforcement or what? Summarize it. My friend's dog I helped train is 9 months old. Oh, this is Kay. What's up, Kay? And they said they have fears towards shadows and lights inside the house. Their dog chases the light shadows. Should they correct this? Yes. So it's probably not fear. What it is, it's probably a neurotic behavior that the dog has developed inside the house. So yeah, you need to correct the behavior, but then you also need to manage it very well as well. So you can't leave the dog like loose and around the house, because then they'll find shadows and light reflections and stuff, and they'll start falling into this loop where they're just obsessively chasing it around the house, which is not good. So yeah, Orbit does this inside the house. He'll like pace around, right? And so we have to catch him. Hey, stop it. And then he's like, oh yeah, my bad. And then he'll go and like lay down in the corner or something. But yeah, some dogs are just wired like that, just neurotic. And so, yeah, you do have to stop it. My male dog, a 1-year-old Belgian Shepherd, has been trained to sleep in his crate since he was a puppy. Everything is fine when he goes to sleep, but when he wakes up, he won't stop barking. Why is he barking? Is he barking inside his crate to get out? I'm assuming. If it is, then you need to make sure, first off, you don't reinforce it. So don't come back and let him out when he starts barking. But the easiest thing to do would be to punish it when he starts barking, right? So when he wakes up or whatever and starts barking at you, you can mark it with no and then punish the behavior, right? And then he stops barking, good. And then you stay in there quiet for a bit, and then you only let him out when he's quiet again. And when he comes out, he gets too excited, snapping and biting. But when we give him the command to sit, he calms down a bit, then continues with that attitude. Yeah, let him out when he's calm, right? Until we leave the house in our morning on a walk. Yeah, I would only let him out when he's calm. I would never let him out when he's barking and going nuts inside the crate. I've told everyone with reactivity problems to watch your vids, LOL. Nice. Well, we got a good one dropping on Monday. So I hope you guys enjoy it if you've got reactive dogs. 15-week-old German Shepherds, nipping, biting, clawing, my poor scratched up hands advice. Best way to discipline nipping, clawing. That comes with the territory. Like if you've got a German Shepherd that's 15 weeks old, of course your arms are going to be scraped up. If they're not scraped up, you're doing something drastically wrong. And so what you want to do is teach them the appropriate things to scratch up and to bite, right? Is your first order of business. So Get a good variety of toys going on. But yeah, that's all. That's a part of the territory. You're gonna get scratched up. You're gonna get nipped. You're gonna get accidentally bitten. It's a part of it. They're puppies. They engage with the world with their face, with their teeth. And so you have to teach them how to engage with you productively first. And then once they keep engaging with their teeth on your skin, then you can punish that. But teach them how to interact with you productively first. And wear long sleeves. How do I keep my dogs calm and ignore other dogs while we walk past each other closely? Release them. Release them from obedience. Don't have them next to you. Just release them on a leash or a long leash and then see what they do. If they react, punish it. If they don't, reward it. And that's it. Let your dog pass out of obedience first. Then, once they're able to walk past dogs calmly on a loose leash, completely free, you're not interfering at all, then you can start asking for obedience. My dog is a 1-year-old Maltipoo, responds well to the come command on long leash or long leash training. Once the prong collar is off, unreliable. Of course, because you don't have a way to reinforce it. That's why we use the e-collar. It's the only way to reinforce the behavior when the dog is off a leash. How much nipping, mouthing should I allow during our play sessions? I'm hesitant to allow any. How should I address? Bring out a toy. My dog is highly reactive to my neighbor's dog behind the fence. What's the best way to train against that? It's just reactivity. You just punish it. So I'll show you how to do it in the video on Monday. I have the vibration collar. Does that work as well as the electric shock collar? I can't use electric as it's banned in the UK. No, it doesn't. Because the vibration, you can't modulate the pressure, right? With the e-collar, with the stem on the e-collar, you can use like almost no pressure, like basically no pressure, or you can use huge amounts of pressure. So there's a huge range to it, right? And then you find the level that you're looking for depending on what you're trying to do with your dog. And so, no, I don't even use the vibrate. What's your advice on boarding a reactive dog? What's the best way? Advice on boarding a reactive dog? I think it depends on the facility and depends on the training and what the trainer is going to do. So it depends. Also, what's the best way to introduce a reactive dog to friends and family who may be staying at our house for fear reactivity? Meet up outside and then go on a walk. Have them on a long leash. If your dog likes to play a game and then invite your family to play the game with you. And then go on a walk together. And then you can enter the house. If you have the dog in the house and you just bring a bunch of people in the house, like that's not going to go very well. Again, you're setting your dog up in a very unfavorable situation. Your dog is going to immediately predict these people are a threat, and then you'll have to work through it like that, which is a lot harder. Your in-depth content is top notch. I shared the leadership video with people for general leadership tips, not just dogs. Very cool. I appreciate that. The principles of dog training apply to a lot of things. Does getting your dog neutered help with dog reactivity? No. I shouldn't say no. I should say it is not generally correlated towards anything. So you'll see it go both directions. You'll see it get worse, and then you'll see it get better, and then you'll see nothing happen. So I would say no correlation. My German Shepherd is almost perfect, but when he meets new dogs and are on leash, he gets super reactive. It doesn't sound like he's almost perfect, Mike. But it's a friendly bark. If I drop the leash, he runs up and starts to sniff butt. Yeah, he's leash reactive, right? He's just excited. He's aroused, and he doesn't know how to deal with that because you're holding him back on the leash and you're making him frustrated. And so I show you how to fix that in the video that's coming out on Monday. So stay tuned, Mike. That'll help you out and get him closer to perfect. How do I return to this site and watch the video on Monday? I'll have it on YouTube. You can rewatch it. Question on your video you posted with the spaniel. Would it have been possible to positively punish coming out of the healing instead of negatively reinforce? How did you decide the difference in those situations? And that's an excellent question, Jesse. You clearly have a really good understanding of the theory, right? So In that video, when you saw him get out of the position, out of the heel position, we chose to negatively reinforce the heel position rather than positively punish him going up to the other dogs, for instance, right? Now, there's a couple reasons why we did that. So the first reason why we did that is because his owner expressed that he would break the position around, like whenever they were passing dogs in close proximity or he was distracted, he would ignore the command and just ignore it and fail to get in the position or break the position prematurely. And so in that situation, since my goal is to increase the behavior of healing, we negatively reinforced it. So when he gets in, we make pressure, but he can escape the pressure by getting back into the heel position, right? So he can escape it. Now, later on, right, if he's off leash just rolling around, let's say, and there's some dog over in the environment and he goes to go and approach the other dog, that we may punish, right? If he's going to approach another dog just without permission, just go out of his way to go say what's up to this dog, right? That we may punish because we're not directly trying to reinforce anything. But how do you decide the difference? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to decrease a behavior or are you trying to increase a behavior? So if you're trying to increase the behavior, you're going to have to reinforce it, which means the dog can escape it. So that's what we were doing with the heel. And also the recall into the heels, right? It's a good question though. Does that make sense? How do you enforce punishment? My dog ignore verbal and prong collar punishment. There are 4 big levers that you can pull with punishment. And I'll cover it inside the video more in depth. But when you go to punish the behavior, you got 4 big levers. The first lever that you have is physical pressure. So a physically aversive consequence, meaning e-collar, prong collar, leash, whatever, anything physically aversive. The next big lever that you have is social pressure. So pressure from you, the handler, showing that you are upset with the dog, you are disappointed with your dog, right? So for example, if you are punishing a behavior and your dog does something unacceptable and you come in, hey, don't do that. Do not do that. Don't do that. Showing you're very upset, right? Bad dog. Very bad. Bad boy. Bad boy. Showing you're very disappointed. You see? So you see how like you can use your emotions to communicate to the dog what you feel in that moment? That's social pressure, right? The next thing you have is spatial pressure. So this is the third big lever. So if your dog act, right? Pressure. If your dog, and some dogs really don't like that, right? They'll look away, they'll avoid you. Oh my gosh, it's really intense right now, right? Social pressure or spatial pressure. You can also, if the dog wants to get close to you, like for security, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I messed up. I'm so sorry. And they're trying to get close to you. You deliberately step away from them. You deliberately keep them away from you, isolating them from you. Again, spatial pressure. See, it depends on the dog. And then the last big lever that you have is time. So the duration of the punishment event. So when the dog offers the undesirable behavior and you mark the behavior with no, the punishment event does not end until you see suppression in the behavior and suppression in the body language of the dog, right? So this is the thing that a lot of people don't, they like mark a behavior no, and they give a little quick pop of the leash or something, right? We don't do that. We mark it with no, and now you are inside the punishment event. And this does not end. We will extend this until we get our point across, until we make it very clear to you that what you just did was absolutely unacceptable. And that might take 2 seconds or it might take 2 minutes where the dog is in that punishment event. You see? Combining it with all those other levers that I just mentioned, right? So you got 4 big levers that you pull during the punishment event. And you find the right level of intensity that you need for your specific dog. So for some dogs, you might go very, very light on the physical pressure, but you might go very heavy on the social pressure. See, for some dogs, you go heavy on the physical at first, And then you go light on the physical during, and then you go heavy on the social during, and you extend the time dramatically, right? So like it depends. But what you're looking for, the response you're looking for is the same for every dog. It's the same response. It's just to get that response requires different inputs from you as the handler. You see? But it's the same. Like it's the same response. But I'll give you more examples inside the video that's coming out on Monday. Like your content, leash pulling shorts is money. Keep it up. Appreciate that. What books would you recommend? I don't read any dog training books. Yeah, I don't read any dog training books. I can tell you like the books that have probably helped me with dog training is The Great Mental Models by Shane Parrish. It's just frameworks for thinking. But that's helped me more with dog training because it gives you frameworks like fundamental principles that apply in all domains, also apply to dog training too. So really just learning how to think and see the world clearly helps you more with dog training, I think, than really anything. How do you punish the behavior if they're in a crate? Well, you just need to attach an aversive consequence that the dog wants to avoid, right? So use your imagination to think about what that might be. Well, let's see. If the dog is in the crate, what's something aversive that I can attach to where the dog doesn't want to experience it again? So let's see. If they're in the crate and they're barking, let's see what happens. Let's say if I mark it with no, walk up, smack, 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 smack on the top of the crate. Very loud. Ooh. A lot of dogs don't like that, right? So that could be one. Another easy one, like if you want just like cheat codes, is obviously just to use an e-collar and reinforce it, punish the behavior from a distance while you're in, right? Claudia, nice, welcome in. I am improving every day with Kai. Happy to learn a lot more with you. Nice, awesome. Quink Dink Bink, my 1 year, my 1.5 year old German Shepherd mouse sometimes. How do I punish it? You mark it with no, and then you attach a consequence. But you have to do it consistently, and then you also have to give the dog an alternative thing to do. So like, for instance, like you would give them a clear alternative. Like, here, bro, here's the tug. And then he's like, nah. And then he just like comes and bites your arm or something. Then I'm gonna be like, no, and then I'm gonna punish the behavior. And then I'm gonna represent the toy and then we play with the toy, right? So he's like, oh, got it. When I bite this, everything's good. But when I bite this, bad. Ah, bad, good. But then you have to be consistent in your application, right? And always remember too, try your best not to get frustrated because he's just a dog and he's trying to interact with you how dogs do. He's just trying to play. And this is how dogs play. They play with their teeth and their face and they bite each other. So he's trying to play with you, right? So try to look at it through that lens. That way you don't get frustrated or upset. My dog is very friendly with people and other dogs. However, when someone comes without a dog, he reacts aggressively. When people come with dogs, he lets the people touch him. Why? It's a good question. I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, when he sees the other dogs, he probably likes other dogs. Yeah. He probably gets excited when he sees the other dogs. And so this immediately puts him in a different emotional place. Right. And then there happens to be a person there, but he's already in this really good mood, really good feel, like he feels good about himself. And so he's much more open to interacting with this person. Whereas if it's like some random person just walking at you, he might have a degree of suspicion towards these people who are kind of like walking at him. Right. It's not like the dogs where he immediately flips into friendly mode. Right. He might be just a little bit suspicious. And so he offers that behavior until maybe he gets to know the person further. Right. So if I had to guess, that might be contributing to it. How do you correct small reactive dogs? You have to be gentle, but there also has to be a little force now, like a leash pop, for example. Yeah, those 4 levers. Physical. You said a prong is not possible. Hard disagree. The prong is definitely possible, all right? But physical pressure, social pressure, spatial pressure, time, duration. It's all the same. What's the cost of your training program? A lot. Shot collar isn't banned in UK, only in Wales, not in England or Scotland. Yeah, we've got a lot of people in the UK that are using e-collars. Hi everyone, husband and I just started our training. We have 4-year-old Beagle on a prong collar. Is this all his life? How long is too long? Um, you mean like how long is too long to have him on a prong collar, or you mean like how long is like too late to start training? It's never too late to start training. Um, Generally, I don't like keeping dogs on prong collars for a long time. Like for us, it's kind of like the beginning, and then we quickly transition to e-collar and then get the dog off leash, right? Don't stay on the prong collar forever. Jorge, what's up, bro? I have 2 dogs, a 1-year-old and 2-month-old puppy, and an 8-year-old. When I play with them, my puppy wants to hog all of the attention, while my adult dog gets a little shy and doesn't want to continue to play. Uh, tell your younger dog to wait their turn. If you're playing with all the dogs simultaneously, I like that they take turns, right? So like, they each have their own toys. For instance, if you're playing with them, I mean, you're each playing with them individually. If you're throwing the ball, for instance, they're waiting their turns for you to throw their dedicated ball. You see what I mean? Any advice on getting dogs to seek pets and physical affection? It's not necessarily something that you are in your control to do. All you can do is really just create the conditions to where if the dog wants that, they can look for it, right? But you can't force it. Like, you get what I mean? You can only create the conditions. So if you're talking about like towards you, like your own dog, there's not much like you could do with that. Like some dogs like it more than others. Orbit didn't really start liking it until he became like an adult. Like when he was younger, he really didn't care for affection really much. But now that he's older, he seems to like it a bit more. The other day, I remember like I think it was like I don't remember like maybe probably like within the last year, honestly. Like there's been times where he wants to come on the couch and cuddle with us. Now it only lasts like 5 minutes, but like that would never have happened. When he was younger, he just wasn't. He just didn't really like. He just didn't really like it, which is fine. That's how some dogs are. Do you have any recommendation for a dog who won't go up to dogs and will pay who won't go up to dogs and will pay enough attention for me to catch my turns if I do put him in a heel but stares a ton without reacting? Yeah, release him. Just release him. Release him. Let him look at the other dogs. Let him do his thing. Practice him being, depending on how much training he has. But you need to also put him in environments. I'm guessing he's social with other dogs. I'm assuming. So like one of the things that I did with uh, Arrow, for instance, is you deliberately take him to environments that are here. Can I show you? Can I share my screen on here? How does this work? We had a really good. You'll see it in the video on Monday, but you'll see it on the video on Monday, how I do that, like with dogs who get really aroused around other dogs. Once you eliminate their reactivity and they're kind of just still excited, they're still excited and still aroused around other dogs, I show you what to do with that. He's a service dog though, so it's not something that I want him to do. Yeah. Let's see here. Ricardo said, how can I correct this? I'd also like to teach him to play in an orderly fashion, for example, each one going after their own ball. Yeah, so you have to have good control of them each individually first. That's like basics. So like these, like you need to have verbal control of the dogs. So like if you tell them to do something, they just do it, right? Like even if they're around each other, you're like down and they just down, like just basic control. Because when they're around each other, they're in a really high state of arousal. And when they're playing, around each other, now they're in a really high state of arousal. So you need to have decent control. And then once you have this decent control, then you can start playing around each other. And then when one dog goes after the other dog's ball, you can correct them for that. And then you're like, nope, this is your ball. And then they start to learn that way. But yeah, you do need control of each dog though. How to train a behavior for when I'm not around my dogs. For example, they stay really calm around cats when I'm there, but when I'm not there, they chase them sometimes. That's a hard one. Honestly, Andrea, like if it's like your cats, like in your house, I like personally wouldn't risk it depending on the dog. Depending on the dog, right? So like Orbit, I could leave him around a cat. Like he's not gonna do anything wrong with the cat. But like Arrow, I'm not leaving him alone with the cat. Like I'm just not taking that risk. Just not taking that risk. Again, just different dogs. Like Arrow's prey drive is just way higher, you know? So like I'm not gonna risk that. He'll be in a crate, or the cat will be like in a separate room or something like that. So yeah. Keep in mind, like you got a predator living in your house. Like don't forget that. They're a dog, but they're they're predatory animals. I've tried to leave it command, but have to frequently ask it. I don't use a leave it command, right? You just have to get the dog around other dogs, right? Sounds like he really likes other dogs. And so like what I did for, and this is also going to be the case, by the way, for some dogs. Some dogs just find interacting with other dogs very, very, very reinforcing. And so it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do about that? You gonna habituate them? You get them in a situation where they're just around like hundreds of dogs all the time, every day, and just like complete until they become just absolute background noise. It's like, okay, maybe. It's like, are you going to be able to do that? Like, do you have a situation like that? It's like, not really. Like, do you have any area that's like kind of busy with a lot of dogs? Like, can you go there frequently? You know what I mean? And then you practice doing a variety of things. So you practice having the dog just loose around the other dogs without interacting with them. Then you have them do obedience around other dogs without interacting with them. Then you're playing with playing with your dog while the other dogs are just around. You see, so like there's things you can do, but some dogs will naturally like interacting with dogs more than others. I have a fearful dog that won't allow people to come into my house. Any tips, please? Yeah, I mean, I can give you some high level tips. So, first thing you need to do is get full control of your dog. So, what I mean by full control is you should be able to walk your dog off a leash, sit down, come, place, heel. You should be able to do all that stuff. All right. If you don't have that, that's the first thing you need to do. You need to fix your relationship with your dog before you worry about their relationship with strangers. All right. So that's the first thing. Get a good off leash obedience. Get a nice structured play relationship with your dog as well. So they feel good and they're happy and they're optimistic and they look forward to living life. Right. So that's the next thing. So this is just your relationship. Right. And then from there, now it's time to manufacture or set up and guide some productive interactions with other people. Right. So you invite somebody who maybe is willing to help you train or maybe willing to interact with your dog. And this is great. Right. So now you link up, go on a walk around the park. Your dog is off leash, having a great time. Call him back into a heel. Fantastic. Your friend is just there, right? And they're just learning how to be around your other dog while they're learning how to be around this strange person while engaging in an activity that they already look forward to doing. So that's the walk. And then you can also include your friend in the play. Okay, like this is the thing I do all the time with dad. I love the game with dad. But who is this guy? I don't know about this guy. But I just want to play this game with dad. And then dad invites stranger threat into the game. But your dog is already in a very positive emotion. They're looking forward to playing the game with you. See, so now they're more open to, I don't know about this guy, but he's throwing the ball for me. Okay, not too bad, right? And then you start to weave your friend more and more into the game, right? Now your friend is telling her to out or to sit or to and throwing the ball, right? And doing all this stuff. Now it's like, oh wow, like this person is actually pretty good. And so now you're starting to change how the dog feels towards the person. You're challenging her perception of that person. At first, she perceives this person as a threat, and now you're challenging this perception, right? And so that's basically how you do it. And then And then after that, you go inside the house. Now she's seeing that person inside the house, right? So a bit different. And then later on, your friend comes over to the house and they knock on the door. Woo! You open the door. Oh, wait, you're that person. Oh, you see? Now she's making that switch on her own. It's like threat, 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 threat. Oh, friend. And she's learning how to switch that, right? And so that's how you start in the beginning. Would you correct a dog? Should you correct when a dog reacts or before they react, i.e., when they wind up? That's a good question. So, have you guys ever seen the movie 1984, where the government, Big Brother, like controls the population? And in 1984, it's like this dystopian future, right, where the government is in control. In 1984, there's this concept called thought crimes. And if you commit a thought crime, if you think about even committing it, just think about it, the police will come and arrest you, and then they'll like take you away, throw you in prison, and like reprogram your brain, right? So like committing thought crimes, right? This is a very dystopian idea. Imagine how crazy that would be. That's what a lot of people do with their dogs. I think you were thinking about reacting at this dog. Does the dog know that they got corrected because they think you were thinking about them thinking about correcting? Like, now you're running through a lot of hoops here, right? What are the odds your dog makes that connection just because they were looking at the dog? You see, you got to be really careful about that because your dog can make the complete wrong association. Like inside the video that I'm going to post on Monday is an example of that with a border collie, actually. And a border collie named Olive. And in it, you can see the handler correct something prematurely because he thought it was going to lead to a reaction. And I was actually like, nope, don't do that. Because immediately after, you could see she performed the same thing, but it didn't lead to a reaction, right? And so you have to be very careful with this because you don't know for sure what your dog is thinking about doing. And if you don't know for sure, they don't know for sure why that consequence came, you see? You run the risk of creating, oh, did I get corrected because I was looking at the other dog? Did I get corrected because the other dog was looking at me? Did I get corrected because we were too close to the other dog? Did I get corrected because the other dog was barking at me? Is that the bad thing? Did I get corrected because the other dog was around? Right? So like what is the connection here? So you have to be very, very careful. So that's why in the beginning, when we're working with reactive dogs, we only correct the really big, obvious reactions. Obvious shit. Like obvious, like when you bark and like lunge at this dog, that is what creates this consequence. Very obvious, you see? And then later on, if you notice that they keep offering this thing and it boom every time, this thing boom every time, this thing boom every time, then you can start correcting that thing, right? But not in the beginning. You want to be very clear with your dog, of course, in terms of what is unacceptable and what isn't. Line in the sand. So no, we don't punish thought crimes. Do different dogs have different sensitivity levels? With my Vizsla, I use a 10, max 14 level with the same e-collar as you used with the Spaniel. Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's why, like, in the video, I emphasize the point so heavily. Like, the mistake everybody makes is they get attached to the numbers. They get attached to the numbers. They look at the numbers, right? They're always, oh, he's not coming. I'm at a 25. Let's go to a 30. Tap, tap. He's not coming. Let's go to 35. Like they're just going through the numbers like this. Like the numbers are completely irrelevant, totally irrelevant. All you're looking for is the response of the dog. You're always looking to the dog, not the remote, not the numbers. You see? But that's the thing that it takes practice, though, to learn how to do that because in the beginning, you're learning how to use the e-collar. And so you're looking at the numbers a lot and you're still learning how to do all that. So it's very normal to go through that process. But yeah, dogs 100% have different sensitivity levels. You're always looking to the response, right? If you get the desired response, it doesn't matter what level you're on at all. So yeah. What time? Like what time is the video dropping? It's going to drop on 11 a.m. Austin time on Monday. I'm in the 60s with my e-collar from my Doberman, for sure. For sure. It totally depends on the dog, right? To get the same exact response. Like to get the same like, and it also depends on the environment and the context. Like for example, like with Arrow, there's like when we were like first like in the beginning stage of the training, and we're doing like off leash healing or something, right? And we're healing past like a bunny, or not. Let's say like not a bunny, no bunnies around, just like regular healing. He goes to make a mistake because he gets distracted by a smell or something. Okay, I might have to come in to negatively reinforce the heal at like a 25 or something, and that gets like a oof, like big like response, right? But around a bunny, I'm gonna have to get that same response. I'm gonna have to be at like a 75 to get the same response. You see, like just the way he interprets it is different depending on the context, right? And so, yeah, it not only depends on the dog, but it also depends on the environment and the competing motivator and the arousal, the state of arousal that the dog is in. So, lots of different factors, right? That's why it's so important to not look at the numbers, always the response. How do you prevent crying during obedience? My dog will hold place for a while but continue to cry. If you mean like whining and stuff, then I punish it. So if it's like excessive. So like what you have to figure out is like, okay, if I do nothing, all right, so if my dog is whining right now, okay, they're whining, whining, whining. What happens if I do nothing? Will it decrease over time? It might if you just don't accidentally positively reinforce it by like coming over, giving them attention, looking at them, releasing them from their place board when you get annoyed, right? Like if you might see that it just decreases over time. In that case, you don't have to do anything. Or you might see that it continues or it even gets worse over time. That's telling you that even though you're not doing anything to reinforce it, it's starting to become self reinforcing. Your dog starts to just enjoy whining on the place board at you. You see? So now in that situation, you're going to have to punish the whining and then reward the dog for being quiet on the other side of that. I have an 80-pound German Shepherd who is very reactive to my vet. How do I address his reactivity when I try to take him for shots when he will not allow anyone to touch him? That's a good question. I think it depends on your dog and it depends on your goals as well. So like, for instance, if you have a dog who really hates the vet, like just truly hates the vet with a passion, hates everybody touching them, and they have this really strong association with the vet, you need to ask yourself the question like, okay, how often am I going to the vet? All right. Is it even worth trying to fix it? You know, seriously, like it's going to require a lot of work to fix it. So, like, is it worth it? Eh, maybe, maybe not. Like, maybe you just manage your way through the vet. So, like, for instance, you come in, you've got strong control of your dog, right? So you have the training, of course, on your dog. You walk into the vet, your dog is, of course, well behaved with you. You go into the room, the dog knows it's coming, but they're still well behaved, obviously, because you've got control of him. Then when the vet comes to like give him shots and start touching him and shit, and he's like, he really doesn't like that. That's where you come in as the handler and you hold him still to keep the vet safe, basically, right? So you're just managing your way through it. And is it pretty? No. Is it fine? Probably, right? Because like how often are you going to the vet? Like, like once a year. So, you know, to really change it, like it's going to require a lot. You can also do like, it depends on how strong your dog hates the vet too. Like, for example, Orbit's not the biggest fan of the vet. He doesn't like when, he really doesn't like when people come and start, messing with him and stuff. And so all we do, simplest thing ever, we just play our way into the vet. So like we walk in there with the toy, we're walking in there with the toy and like he's got enough drive to where it just overrides how he feels about the vet. So like if your dog likes to play, if he likes working for the ball, if he likes playing tug with you or whatever, walk in with the toy, and then you're playing like in the lobby as you're waiting, you get taken to the waiting room, you're playing the game, the vets come in and we can invite the vets into the game. Like we have this really good vet right now. Also, side note, if you can, or if you have the opportunity, like look at different vets around your area. Okay. We've been to some like terrible vet, like just like real, just like not the best vets. All right. And it mostly has to do with the people. Right. And so, yeah, we were at this one vet like just recently, here in Austin, and like really good. Like they came in, and like this is how you know they're good, right? Vet comes in. Oh, hey, how's it going? So this is Orbit. Immediately sits down on the ground. Immediately sits down on the ground, not even looking at Orbit, just talking to us while he's sitting on the ground, basically. And then Orbit's like, around. He's got his like ball in his mouth because we were just playing fetch in the waiting group. And then I call Orbit over, and we're just talking, and then I tell him to out, and then I hand the ball to the vet, and then he throws the ball for Orbit, and now they're just playing like this little game on the floor, you see? And so this is very good. Like you're not overwhelming the dog, putting a bunch of pressure on the dog. It's actually crazy to me, like how many vets don't understand how to interact with dogs. Like they'll literally just like right off the ripper, they just start making a bunch of pressure on the dog just by like standing over them, looking straight at them, grabbing them suddenly. Like it's just crazy. And so, yeah, I would say you can hop around vets if your vet isn't until you find one that you like. Long-winded way of saying that, but I hope that helps. My next question is about an English Bull Terrier that is extraordinarily unfocused and distracted. Do you have any tips on minimizing this issue? How do I get him to lock in during training? It's a good question. So you need to figure out what motivates him. So what motivates him? What does he like? Does he like engaging with the environment? Probably. It's probably very high up on his list, right? Does he like food? Does he like play? Maybe you have to build that up, right? And so figure out what motivates him. Then you start training. And so you just go through the training prep. Watch the reactivity to off leash video with Arrow. That's like literally what you need to do. I have a German Shepherd who is so well. Congrats. Do you think getting online training programs is better than sending dogs away for trainer to train them? I always worry that I'm not able to train my dogs as good as a professional trainer. If I can train your dog and your dog is very trained with me, how is that going to help you? I can say with 100% certainty, I can train your dog better than you. But what does that do for you? That just means your dog is going to be trained with me. But then the second he goes back with you, you don't know what to do. And so he's not going to look very trained at all. And so the question is, the only way around it, if you want to train dog, is you need to learn how to train your dog. Right? There's no way around it. You can't be lazy. You can't send them off to somebody. There's no way around it. Right? And so the question for you is, okay, how would you like to improve your skills? That's it. How would you like to improve your skills? Would you like working with the trainer for like 1 hour in the week in person? If so, do that. Would you like working with a trainer online like me? If so, do that, right? So it depends like on how you want to learn. Let's see. During a loose leash walk, what is your favorite toy to carry for a quick play session? Would be great if it could fit in my pocket. Yeah, I mean like usually what I do is like when we're out on a walk, we just like walk somewhere to play. So like if you've got a field or somewhere like by you, that's like usually what I'll do. So I'll pick a toy that I can bring with me. So either just like a small ball or like a ball on a rope or like a linen, like whatever, like the cotton, like tug toys with the handles on the side, like something like that, whatever your dog likes. Even a Frisbee, if your dog likes playing chuck it stick, you can buy these mini chuck it sticks. They're really short, right? Those are good. What are some mistakes beginner pet owners make? I have a video on it. It's like 13 mistakes that new dog owners make. You mentioned a couple videos ago you attended Jill and Jones workshop in Florida. What was the best thing you learned from that experience that you started applying? It's a great question. When I came back from that workshop, me and another one of our members, so one of our members inside the program actually went to the workshop too. So we were there together, which was fun. But we did a whole breakdown inside the community. I think it was like 13 lessons or something that we learned from the workshop. But man, yeah, there's a lot. And it's let's see, main thing. I would say probably one of the main things that I've learned from Dylan is utilizing prediction error to allow the dog to learn something on their own. So what I mean by that is like if you've watched any of his stuff, especially like the human aggression stuff, you'll see that oftentimes in the videos, he will deliberately allow the dog to engage in a behavior that many people honestly would punish. Like I would see it and I would be like, oh shit, I probably would have punished that. Like the dog, like literally jumping up on the person, nipping at their arms and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, I probably would have punished that. But you can see that Dylan deliberately chooses not to do it. And what's crazy is in many of these videos, he's got proof of it. Immediately after, the dog has like this moment where they're like, wait, why did I just bite that guy there? Why did I do that? And then the guy just like stays there. The person just stays there. And then moments later, like the dog is just completely fine, like interacting with the person. They're playing a game now. Like everything is totally fine after. And I'm like, wow, that's very interesting. It's allowing the dog to have an idea about something like, I think this person is bad. I think I should bite this person. And then they go and engage in behavior and then nothing. Like that idea that they had in their mind just completely shattered. The person is still there. Dylan's talking to him. Oh yeah, how's it going? And then the dog is just there, like in this weird, like they're almost like their reality has just crumbled around them. And now they have to like regain their grip on what just happened. That person didn't respond to me. And I'm like, we're still here. That person's still here. Dylan's talking to this person. What is happening? And like that learning on the dog's part is such a powerful thing. Like whenever you can get the dog to come to their own conclusions like that is critical, like in the training. And he's one of the first trainers that I've seen do that in these type contexts, specifically aggression context, right? And so yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the main things that I've learned from it. But there's a lot though. Like I said, we had like a me and Jorge, he might be inside the live, but he commented earlier. Me and Jorge, we were there and we did inside of our community, we did the whole like 13 lessons that we learned type thing. But yeah, Dylan's a good trainer. Do you take the prong collar on and off, or do you leave it on all day? Take it on and off, just whenever the leash is on. Hey, Miles, I live in Austin with a 1-year-old giant schnauzer. 2 trainers later, and she still reacts towards people who approach me. Seems like she's resource guarding me. What do I do? Well, it's a question. I always think like, how should I answer this question, right? So with reactivity towards people, when you're thinking about something like this, and you've identified the behavior like that she's exhibiting towards the people when they approach you, you have 2 angles that you view it through, right? So the first lens that you view it through is like an operant lens, right? When you're looking at something through the 4 quadrants, you're purely looking at it from a behavior standpoint. So what is her behavior when the people approach me, right? And then how can I modify this behavior? But what's really important to understand when you're looking at it operantly like that is that this doesn't take into account how she feels towards the person. So you might be able to punish the behavior in the moment. She stops exhibiting that behavior, but she still feels the same way towards the people. She still feels whatever she feels towards the people, right? It's still there. You just change how she's behaving in the moment. Now, if you want to change how she feels towards the people, that's a bit of a different thing. Now you have to look at, okay, why does she feel this way towards the people? Is there a genetic component to it? Likely. Is it the environment or the context? It sounds like you identified one of the contexts is when people are approaching you specifically, not just when they're approaching her, it sounds like, right? And so maybe that's a context. Does environment have to also play a role in it, right? So like, why is she feeling this way? And then once you've identified that, or you have an idea of what that might be, now you come up with a plan to challenge that idea. So if she predicts this person is whatever, how can we, going back to the previous point, how can we challenge that prediction? How can we completely shatter it? Right? Whatever she thinks was going to happen towards that person actually doesn't happen. It'll actually, maybe the opposite thing happens, right? Now you're playing with the emotional state of a dog, which is a completely different game, right? But yeah, you look at it from both angles. And just to be clear, like, again, I don't know. Like, it's not, it's this is just, I'm interpreting what you're giving me, right? So just a high level, just some high level thoughts there. What's your method for breaking up a locked up pit bull fight? Um, I don't like. You should watch. You know who has a good video on this is Garrett Wing. Garrett at American Standard Canine. He actually has a good video on it. It's called like How to Break Up Dog Fights. But it's a well done video though. I ordered an e-collar. Can I train my dog alone to recall with it? Yeah, just follow a plan. Follow a plan. So buy a program, join a course, buy a book, like do something. Follow a plan. Don't go into it willy-nilly trying to wing it, clicking buttons. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Is there a way to stop excitement pee? Not really. I haven't found a magic bullet to that yet. Mostly just management. Thank you, that'll work. That's more what I was hoping for too. Nice. What's a good alternative to the crate? My lab pup has gotten his teeth stuck in it, and now I want to feel the safest place for him to be left alone. Get one with like hard sides. So like the what's the one with the hard sides? Like the Ruffland ones, or just anyone that are like slide, not like the black wire ones, because he sounds like he likes to chew on it, right? So get ones with harder sides on it. And then if he still wants to chew on it, you can punish the chewing. Jesse says, got to save this Q&A if you can. Good stuff. I'll save it. Kay says, thank you, Miles. I will let them know. This Q&A is different from the one in the community. Love both. Very helpful. See you on Sunday. Nice. That's Kay inside the community. She's awesome. She's got small dogs that were reactive. Now they're off leash trained. But yeah, Kay's awesome. What are your thoughts on force-free / positive reinforcement? I have thoughts. I mean, what are my thoughts on positive reinforcement? I use it all the time. As a methodology, though, listen, if your goal is to train dogs using only force-free, positive only, then that's what you do. If your goal is what I do, then that is not what you do. So depends on the goals, right? Shout out from Australia. As agility dog trainer instructor, your vids have broadened my perspectives, read general behavior training, and be more confident to explain consequence and must. Awesome. That's very cool. Yeah, lots of similarities, right? Like when you have, especially like in a context like agility, like when the dog is operating, performing a task in a really high state of arousal, it's very imperative that you also have basic functional control of them when they're in a low state of arousal and in a high state of arousal, like apart from the context of agility. And having that control helps you tremendously in this type of activity. So yeah, it's very cool. I don't know anything about agility, by the way. We have members in the community who do agility, but I personally don't know much about it. Let's see here. What do you do with the dog who is very highly sensitive? I answered that a little bit earlier in the live, but your big levers are counter conditioning, habituation, desensitization. Barking out of anxiety, even though all needs are met. Excellent with dogs. Punish it. It's funny, guys. Like so many of these problems that people have, the answer is always like very simple. It's like tell the dog to stop doing it. You know, just people don't know how to do that. I have a 10-month-old golden retriever. Every time he sees people, she gets excited and jumps on people. How do I teach her not to do so? Again, it's one of those situations, right? You need to tell the dog to stop doing that. So all you do is you let her jump on the people, then you mark it with no when she jumps on the people, and then you punish it. So you attach an aversive consequence that she does not like, that she does not want to experience again, and then she associates that with the behavior of jumping. That's it. And then she avoids the behavior of jumping. That's all you do. I also have a 2-year-old Belgian Shepherd brothers who are terrible at dropping and releasing things. One have already tried to swallow a ball and a plush toy. Yep, gotta get a good out command. Have a 1.5-year-old Chiweenie who is attached to me. It's my fault for babying her. Now I feel stuck at home and can't go anywhere without her pouting. Can I change this behavior? For sure. Of course you can change it. Yeah, of course you can change it. It's just training. Any tips getting over the anxiety, fear of correcting my dog hard in public? I always have asked it because I'm self-conscious, and now I sent him mixed signals in the process, reactivity. Yeah, I mean, that's a very self-aware comment that you made. I think you should identify the exact thing that you're afraid of. So, what exactly are you afraid of? Are you afraid of the people saying something? Oh, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Hey, what are you doing? You shouldn't. You afraid of that comment? Are you afraid of, or are you afraid of something that you're doing genuinely? Are you unsure of something that you're doing? Is there a doubt in the back of your mind, like, are these people right? Am I doing the right thing? Right. So, like, what is it exactly that you're afraid of? And then isolate it. So, like, if it is just like the social pressure of the other people, then you need to run through the experiment where it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do? You're going to let what other people might say, maybe, or might think impact your relationship with your dog? Is it worth it? Because keep in mind, like every time, whenever you're giving him these inconsistent signals, from his perspective, he doesn't know what the fuck you want. Sometimes I get corrected for doing this thing, and then sometimes I don't. Sometimes he's not okay with this thing, but sometimes he is. What is it? Am I allowed to do this thing or not? You see? When you do that, it's better to just not do anything at that point, right? So I don't know. Let's see. We had a post in the community actually called "How do you get over the fear of correcting your dogs out in public?" Um, let's see. Fear. I'm not going to pull it up right now. I changed my mind. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll make a video on it. I have 3 dogs. They feed off each other's reactivity. When the mailman enters the neighborhood, like 5 houses down the street, how do I get them to stop barking at the mailman? Well, they like barking at the mailman, right? Clearly. They both like barking at the mailman. So you have to make barking at the mailman more bad than good. It's already pretty good. So now you have to make not barking at the mailman. You have to make barking at the mailman bad and not barking at the mailman good. So how are you going to do that? What's the bad thing you can do for barking at the mailman? And what's the good thing you can do for not barking at the mailman? That's it. Now you've created a very clear incentive structure for the dog. So it depends on where you're at in the training process, by the way, as well. Like if you're at the very beginning and you don't have any control of them in a high state of arousal, so like what that means is like if your dog loses their mind when they see other dogs, or that you can't even control them like during the play, or like you can't even walk them on a leash around the neighborhood, then it's like, okay, we have other things that we need to do first before we can even do this. You see? So it's kind of like an order of operations. But if you do have strong control of your dog, you do have a good play relationship with your dog. You can set boundaries in the play. Your dog is very, like, you have all that stuff. Then it's like, okay, for this, okay, perfect. What are we going to use to punish the behavior? We're going to use a leash and a prong. We're going to use the e-collar. What are we going to use? And then to reward the dog for doing the right thing, what are we going to do? Right. So now it's like, it becomes a very different question. Right. But again, the thing that I find a lot of dog owners do is they skip straight to the problem. Right? This is what people do with reactive dogs all the time. They're like, my dog is reactive. I need to fix the reactivity. Before I have any of our clients even fix the reactivity, there's a whole list of things that we do before. It doesn't take long. It takes like a week. But and I'll show you guys what that list is in the video on Monday. But anyways, hard for me to give you specific advice. I have a 1-year-old corgi. I do 2 to 3 hours of engagement, but always wants more. I usually don't engage anymore, but she keeps pushing for more activity, but I'm too exhausted. Do I keep staying firm? Yeah, tell her to go take a break. Tell her to go to her place and take a nap. Tell her to go to her crate and take a nap. When she comes up to you, pick up all the toys from your house, right? Like, get them all off the floor. Get your dog on a basic routine, like just a basic routine, so that she knows when it's time to wake up, when it's time to go on a walk, when it's time to play, when it's time to take a nap, when it's time to eat. And she starts to associate specific behaviors and levels of arousal to these specific contexts, right? So get on a basic routine. Doesn't have to be like super crazy, just like, half consistent. I keep hearing the use of double lines. Can you explain what that is and how it works? I don't know. Depends on what your goal is. Socrates, now Orwell? Yes. I'm curious. You're clearly well educated and read. What is your background? My background? I mean, how far back are we going in this background? Before I was training dogs, I was teaching kids how to invest in the stock market. So I was teaching kids 9 to 12 years old how to invest in the stock market and how it works. And then I got my dog, and then I started training dogs. Do you believe every dog can play tug? Do I believe every dog can play tug? Well, I would say no, right? Not every dog can play tug. Like, if you've got a dog with no teeth, they can't play tug, right? So if it doesn't work in the extremes, then it must not be true, right? I believe that most dogs can learn how to play tug, if that's your question. I'm late here. This is Tony with Shadow and Terra. Tony, what's up, Tony? Shadow and Terra. Guys, for those of you who don't think small dogs can be trained, Tony has 2 off-leash Pomeranians. Let's see, where were we here? What kind of dog is Arrow? He's a German Shepherd Malinois. Instead of an e-collar, anyone use a different method for correction, like paper towel roll? LOL, I'm broke. You can use anything that your dog finds aversive. The obvious caveat here is that it should not injure the dog. All right. So, but anything that they find aversive that they don't want to experience again can be used to punish the behavior. You can use your imagination to think what that might be. My dog loves to play with other dogs, but now we have moved to the country. There are no parks, just mountains where we go off leash. Is that enough? She needs to socialize with other dogs regularly? No, she doesn't need to socialize with other dogs. What she needs is you. She needs you. She needs a working relationship with you. Right? So yeah, it's the most, you're the one she's with A strong, this is the thing I think people underestimate, but a strong working relationship with the human, especially for certain dogs, is a key component of truly fulfilling that dog. Truly. A human that they can perform a task, a close task with, in conjunction with a person, right? That that relationship is not something that they can get from another dog, right? And so, yeah, focus on their relationship with you and then enjoy the country and enjoy the mountains where you live. It sounds like a lot of fun. Can I put my four Heathens through your class, or do you think I should run the two younger pups through first? And once they're trained, I work with the older dogs? I mean, if one dog is giving you more issues than the other, that's certainly a way you can go about it, for sure. Let's see. Try to get to some questions here, guys. Dog is very anxious. He's afraid of traffic, garbage cans, anything unexpected. Get him to actually be calm. Counter conditioning, desensitization, habituation. Those are your main tools. And also just training. Don't underestimate just training. If you go through like an actual training program, your dog will come out significantly more confident in themselves and in you. Is it a big deal if my dog will not fall asleep in place? She sleeps in her covered crate, but is too sensitive, movement, walking around to sleep in place, even for a few hours. It's not a big deal. My dog got ACL surgery yesterday. She plays too hard with other dogs and flops around. How can I help when this is back to normal? Uh, not too much you can do there. It's not too much you can do. Is it okay to train a dog to be a service dog and protection? I mean, potentially. I mean, technically, a service dog is just a dog who performs a task for a qualified disability. So if you have a protection dog who can also do that, technically they would be a service dog. So, like, how many dogs have the temperament to be both? Good? Probably not many, right? A lot of this is applicable to humans. Mhm. Just found your videos this evening and they're game changing. Can't wait to tell my sister about this too. Her dog is off the rails. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I'm glad you're liking the content. Hey, Miles, this is John and Chewy. What's up, John? John and Chewy are inside the program. I agree with Kate. This is great. Could listen to you talk dogs all day. Nice. See you Sunday. Nice. Yeah, we do for those that don't know, we do like private Q&As with just the people inside the program every Sunday. I just wanted to test out like doing lives on YouTube. Because what's funny is like when I'm just inside the program, the people in the program, I, it's the it's just a completely different type of like um I just interact with the people in the program completely differently. Like they've got such a deep level of understanding because they've gone through the program, right? And I know where they're at in the training, and so I can give like very precise like feedback, right? But like with YouTube, people are just like kind of drifting around aimlessly still. This is like where I was before, like this is where I was like when I first got a dog. Like this is where a lot of people on YouTube are. They just like hop around from trainer to trainer and they just kind of do random things and they like randomly try to solve problems and they randomly make progress. And so they don't really get they kind of like drift around and then they falsely label problem. And so like it's 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 in like they're like almost two separate worlds for me almost. It's like yeah, it's a very interesting like mental puzzle because I have to remember like what that's like in that in that time. That way I can make videos for you guys that actually help you and that aren't too like high level, which is honestly a lot of the way that I talk to people inside the program. It's like very high level and theoretical because they understand it. Um, so yeah, just interesting. My dog is extremely reactive and aggressive to strangers. He can calmly walk by anyone in public, but if they try to talk to him or come to the house, he's a menace. What should I do? First things first, you should train him. That's the first thing. It's just like if you were inside the program, you wouldn't even address this problem in the beginning because this problem isn't the actual problem. You have many other problems that you have to fix first before you can even address this. So like for the first, and this, we'll cover this inside of the, even though it's not human reactivity, the dog reactivity video that I post on Monday will show you what to do before you go and address the reactivity. So make sure you do that section. It's step 2. It's a 4-step video, 4-part video. But step 2 is what you need to have done before you go to try to address your dog's reactivity. If you don't have that step 2 done, you're not going to be like, you literally don't have the skills to even attempt to even hope for a positive outcome when you try to address the reactivity. And so stay tuned for the video on Monday though, because it'll help you out. Even though it's not dogs, it'll help you out. I just want to thank you so much for all the valuable info. Appreciate it. I inherited my dog and have been so keen to make her feel safe that I've been reluctant to tell her off. Your videos have actually reminded me that constructive consequences actually make her feel safer. 100%. 100%. And that's the thing I think gets lost on a lot of people is like the consistent boundaries. Those, you can think of them almost like guardrails, right? Like if she was walking on, imagine she's like walking on a path and on all sides of her is just like this 1,000 foot drop off. And she like literally thinks if she crosses the line, she's going to die like at any given time, right? By having, you can think about consequences almost as guardrails for her behavior. So significantly more predictable because she can predict what will happen if this, what is not okay, what is okay, what is acceptable, what isn't. And now she can operate through the world like that, right? And so, yeah, it's huge. I inherited my dog. Oh, wait, that's actually that one. My dog used to bark and lunge at dogs, but he's gotten better. I punished the barking and lunging. Now he just avoids them most times. However, he still whines like crazy. Yeah, so that'll be so what you need to do now is you need to learn how to change the emotional response. Again, when you're looking at it just through that, an operant lens, you're just changing the behavior. Now you need to start changing how he feels around the other dogs. So it's the separate part. It's the next part, right? The hard part, actually. People think like the barking and lunging is the hard part. That's the easy part. That part is like very easy. The changing how he feels, that's the hard part, right? And this is where people get all messed up, right? Like they think the more the dog is barking and lunging, the more reactive they are. No, right? You can have a dog that's really showing a lot of stuff, but then you punish it and it's like the emotion. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't even care anymore. But you can have dogs who are silent, don't even really vocalize at all. But they're, again, the reactivity is significantly greater in terms of their emotional reaction towards the other dog or their emotional reaction towards the person. Even though it doesn't outwardly look super intense, that changing how they feel in here, teaching them how to regulate this emotion is way harder than just changing the behavior on the surface. And so, yeah, it's something that a lot of people don't understand or appreciate. Thanks for your time. I'm learning a lot for your vids. Keep it up. Appreciate that. Can you specifically have success with a reactive dog without the use of any tool or treat? You're asking like this is like, no, unless you are like God or something. Like, no. Like, fundamentally, in order to change a dog's behavior, you're going to need to reinforce and punish behaviors. So, like, you need a way to do that. There's no way around it. Just the laws of behavior do not permit. You've run into a first principle, right? And so, no, the answer is no. You need a way to reinforce behaviors or to punish behaviors in order to modify behavior. This applies to people, by the way, too. Like another way of saying this is like, could you teach a kid to do something without the use of anything, without using anything desirable or letting the kid know they were doing right, or without letting them know they were doing wrong? Could you somehow influence this kid's behavior? It's like, no, you'd need something. You'd need praise. You'd need rewards. You'd need correction, like whatever you want to call it. Like you need something. So no, the laws of behavior do not permit, unfortunately. My dog is completely out of control. He can't keep control of himself. I've been working with him since a pup. There's no exposure to other dogs and people. It's just him and me. You need to follow a program. Follow a program that works and then walk through it. Right? You're probably trying to do stuff willy-nilly. No willy-nilly. Follow a plan. My dog is completely my Chihuahua barks the entire time while playing with her friends. They're all running around, and she's the only one barking nonstop. Self-reinforcing behavior. All right. When she's in that high state of arousal, she's just learned to bark, and she just likes barking during that context. If it's really annoying, you can punish it. This is regarding the Corgi Miles. I had a video, maybe it was in the community Q&A, but it's teaching a Corgi an off switch when the play's done. I've done this with our Pomp keys, put it the toys, all done. Yeah, got to have a good all done command. Got to. I've seen a lot of similarities with you and Hazard Shield Canine. Have you heard of him? If so, yeah, Haz is the man, bro. Haz is the man. He's the first trainer that really showed that I learned from, like really showed how to punish a behavior, basically. Like nobody else wanted to show that. No one, at least when I was trying to train Orbit, my personal dog, right? He was all reactive and shit. I'm like, dude, what do I do? All the balance trainers, they cut it out of the videos, right? They cut it all out. Haz does not. Haz does not care. He just shows it. And so, yeah, Haz is savage. But yeah, he's definitely influenced my training. I'd say like biggest influences in my training, Haz, Shield Canine, Larry Crone, Ivan, Balabanov. I would say like if you looked at my training, you just throw that together and then mix with just some of my own experiences when it comes to like just teaching people. I would say that's a pretty good description of how I train. Let's see. Would absolutely love to hear you talk about vet visit strategies. We have our basics down, prong collar, e-collar, work within fur boundaries, proof training yet. There's lingering emotional response. For sure, there's always gonna be. That's weird. That's weird. Like, it's like as sketchy as it gets, you know? Like tight spaces, crazy smells, like dogs barking in the rooms, like someone comes into your small room that they don't know. Like it's as weird as it gets, you know? And so for most dogs, for many dogs, they're gonna make that connection, like vet equals weird place. Now, for some dogs, they're gonna make the connection like vet equals treat or vet equals pets from the people, you know, and they'll make a completely different connection, even though they experience the same thing. But for most dogs, they make the connection like vet is like kind of stressful, not very good. So for most dogs, you just manage your way through it. Like I said, if your dog's got drive, you can just play your way in through the vet, you know, like how I do with Orbit. But yeah, if your finances allow, you can also do a mobile vet. Like they have vets where they just come to your house. Those are pretty nice. They just come to your house and then you're just like hanging out in the front yard, you know, and they're just like doing everything there. That makes it pretty easy. He said, yeah, that barking and lunging part was pretty much fixed in one session, but now he doesn't know what to do with his emotions. LOL. That's where I'm at. Not sure how to make him feel neutral, I guess. 100%, bro. Like the video I post on Monday, you'll see more about how we work the dog through that emotional reaction towards the other dog. That's the hard part because it's kind of a balance. Like you have to know when to do nothing. You have to know when to do something. And when you do something, what is that thing that you do? Right? Are you gonna reward the dog for a response? Are you just going to engage in activity while the dog is around? right? Like there's many like it's the tricky piece, but you'll see it in the video on Monday. Bro, I know you probably don't recommend it, but I've trained my dog for free with your YouTube videos. We're going on off-leash walks and so many adventures. That's awesome, bro. Dude, honestly, I don't even know how people do that on YouTube. I honestly have no idea. Like when I look at my YouTube videos, I'm like, oh my God, it is so disorganized and like it is so disorganized and unstructured. Like I don't even know how people follow it. I don't even know how people do it. But but man, shout out to you though. It's really cool. Any tips for teaching the down command, as in laying down? Yeah. I mean, lure them into the down command with food, show them how to get there with leash pressure, then teach them the word. There's lots of tutorials though. Look it up. My dog Roxy will growl and do one or two barks when she hears someone she's excited to see coming down the hallway at work. Not sure how to get her not to do that. Um, so someone's coming down the hallway, she hears them, she kind of barks, and then she's getting excited as she sees them coming down. I mean, it's like fairly normal. Like that's what Orbit would do, right? If it's really a problem, or if it's like she's barking, you could punish the barking, right? Now she might still like growl or like give a little half bark under her breath, but at least now she's not disturbing people in your office. My fairly high drive German Shepherd loves riding in the car and shows it by drooling the whole time. Any suggestions? Not particularly. I mean, if you don't want drool all over your car, you can put him in a crate. Um, or if you don't want drool in your car, but you're okay with drool outside your car, you can roll down the window. But dude, it gets nasty when it cakes up outside the window. It's so bad. Thanks for the suggestion about mobile vet. I've been thinking about it, but wondered if I was taking a cop out to not work through it. Not at all. It's one of those things, bro. Like you just gotta pick and choose your battles, you know? Like vet's a pretty monumental battle. Do we want to attack that? Personally, not really. You know, like what am I gonna do? Show up at the vet like before appointments and like on days when I'm not? Like, I'm not trying to do that. I've got other stuff to do. Like, I'm busy, you know, like I'm busy. I've got stuff to do. And so it's like, I'm not gonna do that. I'll take the easy way every time, you know? That says that's true. I made a playlist. Hey man, it's impressive. Hey Miles, your training has helped tremendously with Roscoe. Can't wait to hear everyone's feedback as I finally make a progress post. Sick. I'll be happy to take a look. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, like inside the program, it's not like YouTube videos. YouTube videos is like random. Inside the program, I just give you a weekly training plan with videos of what to do every week. It's like 4 videos that you complete every week, and then you move on to the next week. And then by the end, your dog is off leash trained. So like it's a lot more simple. And then like when you have a problem, I know exactly where you're at in the program, so I can give you a really specific answer. Unlike YouTube, right? It's like you have a problem, but then I don't know where you're at training wise or what you know or what your dog doesn't know already. So it's really hard to give an answer, right? And so yeah, that's kind of the difference. But if you guys want that personalized feedback though, apply to the program. I only accept a few people a month though, so you have to apply. Only apply if you're serious. If you're not serious, do not apply. Super looking forward to the video. Thank you. Honestly, all the trainers online, you're the one that really followed the techniques, no BS methods. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. From Brazil, your videos changed my training with my dog. Now I wait for more videos. Thanks for the content. Awesome. New video coming out on Monday. Full reactivity. It's kind of like a mini course almost. It's like 2.5 hours long. It's going to be very in-depth. But if you guys like in-depth videos, you guys will like this video. What's crazy though too is like it's like 2.5 hours long, and there's still a lot of stuff that I didn't include. It's actually crazy. Like when I was editing it, I was like, wow, there's so many things that I didn't touch on that, you know, Yeah, it's very interesting. It's hard to condense it all into one like video. It's really hard. Like inside the program, for instance, it's very simple because like, you know, you go through the program and then we show you how to fix the reactivity as you go through the program. And so it's very like systematic in a way. But with YouTube, you just have one video. And so it's like, man, what do you put in the video, you know? So it's tricky. Definitely recommend the training course if you want your friend to enjoy this life free of stress. Yeah, perfect for someone throughout support throughout your journey. 100%. Yeah, guys, if you want me to give you personalized feedback on your dog, check out the program. It's a lot different than YouTube. It's a lot different. YouTube is very general. In the program, we can get very specific. I have a 2-year-old dog who is pretty much where I want, off leash, good manners in the house. I want to get another. How do you manage having the second dog with training and with neglecting the other? Yeah, it's a good question. Um, how do you manage it? Not sure there's a perfect answer to this, honestly. I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't thought through it. Not sure. It's a good question. Having a hard time finding the price point for the program, you have to apply. And then if I accept you into the program, then I'll give you more info. How can I prevent my dog from lunging, barking towards people that come in the elevator? Oh, yeah. Once we reach the first floor, he will growl and bark if there's anyone there. Yeah, it's apartment building reactivity, right? It's the hardest. Dude, it's honestly like that. That type of reactivity is honestly the hardest, bro. Like inside the apartment, small hallways, elevators, surprise, interact like that's the hardest. But to answer your question, the way that you deal with it is the same. It's the same as any other context. It's the same as if you're passing a dog on the street. It's the same as if there's a dog behind a fence barking at you. It's the same. And so, might not be the answer you want to hear, but that is the answer. It's the exact same. The hard part about it, like the actual hard part about it, is the human like psychological aspect of it, where it's like you have to you have to basically do what you need to do in the moment in front of like in your nice quiet, you know, apartment building lobby with like the nice music playing and like that's hard, right? Just psychologically, mentally, right? um but yeah, it's the same though. How many hours per day do you recommend training your dog when following your program? Well, not per day, but per week. Yeah. So like you just do stuff every like how often, like Claire, how often do you work with your dog today? Like every day. How often do you work with them? How often, like if you take all the time you spend with them out on walks, play sessions, training session, like you add all that time up, how much time do you already spend with them? That's a question. Let me know. Hey, Miles, you helped me build a better relationship with my dog, so forever grateful. That's awesome. It's not me, it's you. You were the one who took the information and did the work. You can give this information to everyone, and most people will do nothing with it. So it's not me, it's you. Claire, you said 2 hours? Plenty of time. Oh my God, that's a lot of time. So 2 hours, like that is plenty. So if anything, honestly, if you join the program, you might cut back on how much time you're spending. Basically, the game is you're already spending the time. You just need to change what you're doing during that time. That's it. Right? The big fallacy people have is they think that training is like they're gonna have to like create hours out of like nowhere, and it's gonna like it's like it's not how it works. Like you already spend tons of time with your dog, more than enough time. You just need to change what you're doing during that time. You need to spend that time strategically in a way that makes progress towards your goals. You need to know what to do in what order, right? So that way you're working on the constraint and actually making progress. You're not just kind of spinning your wheels, moving nowhere, right? And then once you've got, because like the big, like with training, training and life happen together, right? They're not separate things. And so when you can incorporate training into your life, which is what we show you how to do, it becomes very easy, right? So yeah, Claire, you already spend enough time. It's just what you're doing during that time is the thing that needs to change. I'm one of those people who learned completely off YouTube from you and Shield Canine. So thank you for what you do. Appreciate that, Tyler. Well done. Well done being incredibly resourceful. I'm thinking about adopting another dog. Do you train two dogs separately or concurrently? Train your dog first. So your current dog, make sure they're trained, like I mean train. So like if you can walk your dog off a leash around your neighborhood, past dogs, past people, in a heel, recall solid, like you don't even think about it. Like it's literally like you don't even think about your dog's obedience. You don't even like when you give your dog a command, them not listening is like not even in the realm of possibilities. Like it's not even a thing you think about. You see, like once you're at that stage, and you know when you're at that stage, like it literally becomes effortless to live with your dog. Once you're at that stage, then okay, you're definitely ready for another dog. But if you know that add another dog before you're at that stage, it oftentimes just creates more stress because now you're going to have two dogs and two sets of problems, and the problems are going to contribute to each other's problems, and you're not going to have the skills to identify what you need to work on and when because you haven't taken one dog through the training. But if you take one dog all the way through the training following a system, then it's like the next dog, you just maintain your current dog easy, take no effort. And then your second dog, you just train them and you do whatever you want to do. And it becomes fun, not stressful. Right. And so I would say go into it with that mindset. I'm thinking about, wait, sorry. Oh, this is a good comment from Start Canine Academy about getting a second dog. I would highly recommend becoming fostering a dog to see if you're really ready for a second dog and what type of second dog you should get. That is an excellent point. That's a really good comment. Do you have any suggestions on how to stop my dog chasing my cat? He gets very excited and whines when he sees my cat and wants to go near my cat. Depends on the dog. So, is he just excited because he wants to interact with the cat? Do you trust your dog? Is your dog like what kind of dog is your dog? You know, like for Orbit, if he sees a cat, he's just gonna be curious and like he'll kind of want to like play with the cat. But like for Arrow, if he sees a cat, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna let him go after a cat. You know what I mean? I'll probably just cut it. I'll probably treat it like squirrels. I got another dog. I'll be fed. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. You may never know how many dogs, how many lives, dog and human, you've impacted. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Claire says, well, that's time spent walking for exercise. Awesome. Yeah, you already spend a lot of time. That's exactly what I did and do with my dogs. Awesome. I have a German Shepherd from the shelter. He's 2 years old and reactive. I've done work with him, and now he's just at a level where I have to manage. When people come over, he drools and whine. Come over, he drools and bind and barks like crazy. I'm thinking, is that a neurotic level where he can't handle his temper on people? What happens if you release him and you just do nothing? Like you just leave him loose, and the people come inside, and he just interacts with the people. What happens? Let's see here. Tyler asked, "Did you get Arrow adopted?" Yes, got Arrow adopted. Um, yeah, he's now living in Pennsylvania. Should I show you guys a photo? You guys want to see a photo of Arrow? So this is Arrow and his sister that he's living with now. Look at this photo. Look at this one. Look at this one. Isn't that cute? Just laying on each other. Her name is Nala. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing fantastic. Man. He came down, his owner, his name's Justin. He came down to Austin and he stayed here for like 5 days. And he just like got an Airbnb. And we just met up every day to train. And it was fantastic. Like it was so good. Man, Justin's such a good, couldn't have asked for a better owner. Like seriously. Really good, really committed, really like serious about, really fast learner as well. We actually documented the whole thing. It was like a 5-day handoff, and we documented every single day, every session. But we posted it inside the community. I didn't post it on YouTube because I didn't know how to package it. I didn't know if people on YouTube would even want to see that. So I just posted it inside the community, but people in there liked it. But yeah, Arrow's having a great time. My dog loves playing with other dogs. What do you think about dog parks? My previous dog was attacked twice and became reactive. I mean, I think you kind of answered your own question, right? My dog is always charging and barking at my cat. Only after 5 p.m. All day is fine. Just after 5 p.m. Yeah, personally, I would not allow that. I would punish it. How do you stop dog chasing squirrels? Same way you deal with reactivity. My dog is a poodle mix. No, I deal with it differently. I create a suspicious association towards the squirrels, towards the wildlife. So the dog associates the consequence with the wildlife, not with me. That way the dog doesn't chase squirrels even when I'm not there. Please show on video on YouTube with Arrow's handoff. Dude, I don't know what to package it. How do I title it? I don't know how to package it. And like, plus people are seeing, that's the thing, like people inside the community found it very valuable because they're like in the training, like they can see like kind of the little handling mistakes that the owner was making, like little things, right? And because Arrow, keep in mind, he's already fully trained, so I'm basically just teaching the owner how to handle him, right? So it's very it's very high level, and it's also you're just seeing a dog who's already fully off leash trained, just seeing me hand him off to a new owner, right? So like, how is that going to be helpful to the people on YouTube, right? Like a lot of you guys have just what I would consider basic, like beginner problems, just like, just like normal things. Whereas like, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how to package it. If you have an idea, let me know. I filled out your application and we'll wait to hear. You're the first person I've seen on YouTube that really seems to understand dogs and how to explain what you're teaching to the rest of us. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to make it easy to understand. But yeah, I'll review your application. I review the applications in the order that I get them. So it usually takes me a couple days to get to your application because I only allocate a specific amount of time to review applications. But if you're accepted, you'll be notified via email. Such an adorable pic of Arrow and Nala. Will you rescue and train another dog? Yes, it would be cool. Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, honestly, it's so hard emotionally that I probably don't want to do it again. It's like terrible emotionally. Yeah. So I'd probably just work with the dog who already has the owner. It's like way easier. Like finding an owner is like, and again, I'm so thankful that he's with Justin, the current owner. Man, such a phenomenal, like just perfect, right? Couldn't have asked for any better. But yeah, like going through, like it's hard, like it's a big sense of responsibility because you care a lot for this dog and you want to make sure he goes to a good place. Like It's scary. It's like fear inducing, you know? Even the first time I met Justin at the first session, I was like, "Oh my god, is everything going to be like?" I was scared like, did we make the wrong choice? You know, he drove like how many, like I think it's like he drove like 22 hours or something to Austin. 22 hours he drove like one way. And then stayed here for like 5 nights. And I remember the first day I was like, "Oh my god, did we make a huge mistake? Like, is this, should I pull out? Should I like," I was like, I didn't know, right? Um, but anyway, Justin ended up doing fantastic. Uh, but yeah, and again, couldn't be with anyone better. So yeah, it ended well, but very stressful process. Do not recommend. I'm sorry, I meant to say he only jumps at people and drools and whines. Yeah. I've done punishment for the nipping. Now I have him muzzled around people. Is this the best option? Probably not. Like, is he excited? Is that what you mean? What I'll typically do if the dog is excited is I'll let them be free and then I'll punish specific behavior. So, like, for the nipping, I'll punish that. And then for the jumping, I'll punish that. And then for the pushy, I might punish that, or I might call the dog off or redirect them into something else. Um, but yeah. Funny enough, am struggling showing my wife how to handle my fully trained dog. Any tips? Bro, you got to become a dog trainer. That's the point, right? You got to learn how to become a dog trainer. The real key, though, the real key is you don't. Okay, this is the big mistake everybody makes with their significant others and with their kids if they want to include them in training. Everybody accidentally punishes the exact behavior that they want. They do it all the time. So, like, let's say Tyler, wife makes an indication. Oh, hey, I'd like to learn how to walk him. And then you're like, okay, great. That sounds great. And then you let her walk him, and then she's walking. And you're like, no, no, you did that wrong. No, 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 you need to do this instead. No, 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 you need to change this. No, 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 no. Okay, give me the leash back. You see, like when you do stuff like that, okay, now you inadvertently punish the behavior of her looking to get into training, right? And so, just like with dogs, you need to be very careful about the behaviors that you punish and the behaviors that you reinforce. So, when she makes an effort, you need to be very careful to reinforce that effort, right? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can definitely. Yeah, you can walk him tonight. I'll come out with you, and then you need to give very clear, very specific instructions. All right, and don't throw too much. Just like very simple. So, like, here's the leash. Here's how to walk him. Uh, if he does this, you do this. That's it. Right. And then she'll do it and let her know when she's doing well. Like, truly, like when she's actually doing well, let her know. And then when she does something wrong, be like, okay, that there. So that you can see how when you did that, he did this. Yeah. So, like, instead of doing that, do this. So instead of that, do this. So very clear. Right. And then she does it. And you're like, "Nah, you see how that was different? Like, that was so much better. See how he responded to that differently? Now it's like, boom, now the pieces click in her mind, right? And you're reinforcing the behavior of her training." Um, so yeah, it's human training. What's your opinion training Caesar's way? No opinion. I don't really have an opinion, honestly. The handoff vid could help rescues. Potentially, potentially. I don't know. It's like kind of advanced, Like, it's literally Arrow. We're like in downtown Austin, and he's just like off leash, like in the heel position. And I'm like critiquing Justin like on his timing, and I'm like, oh, you see that? Like, increase the levels there. Like, it's like proofing, basically. Like, you're seeing a dog who's already finished, and so yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll post it. All right, if you guys pester me enough, maybe I'll post it, but I'm not confident. Not confident how well it would do on YouTube. Call it how to hand off your dog to your new owner. I don't know. Like, again, like people who are on our YouTube channel, and again, you guys are all on the live. You guys are like different. Like, you guys are all like crazy people. Who hops on a dog training live Q&A? Who does that? Who? Who does that stuff? It's just you crazy people who are like real nerds and like real nerds about dog training, right? Which I love. It's just, the regular people who like, watch the channel, they've got like problems they want to fix and stuff, like, their dog pulls on the leash, they bark at stuff. And so when you introduce a video like that, it's like, that doesn't apply to me in this situation. Maybe it could be inspiring. I don't know. I'm still debating on it. I want to see Arrow in this video, figure out how to show it to us. I don't know. Give me an idea. Training the spouse is the hardest part because you don't want them to poison the commands like a recall. Yeah. Hey, do you have a program when you mentor people who are interested in dog training, like an academy and grow a business? Not right now. Not right now. I know a lot of people inside the program end up becoming trainers though, but maybe in the future. Uh, so you're training the wife, same as training the dog. You are amazing. Hey, behavior is behavior. You just called out me with my wife. Yep, for sure. Total dog training nerd here. Yeah, that's the thing. See, you guys are gonna want to watch some, 5-hour video of me handing off Arrow to his owners. Like you guys will watch that because you're all dog training nerds. You're watching a dog trainer live on YouTube right now. Who does that? Nobody. I like how you speak about the art of balanced dog training. As a dog trainer with 15 rescue dogs looking for homes or sanctuary, follow your blueprint for how to train a community. That's awesome. Man, that's really cool. That's awesome. Make a second channel for us dog nerds. Yeah, maybe low key, honestly. Maybe I just need second channel, just some like raw, super deep cuts type thing. I don't know. A secondary idea I had, guys, let me know. Okay, there's 60 on you right now. Secondary idea I had was what if on lives, because listen, only crazy people come on the lives, all right? You guys are all crazy dog training nerds. So what if like on lives is when I kind of like went real deep and just like really just expanded on some theory, philosophy, or something like really like some core concepts in the lives that maybe might not do as well like on like just on the main channel, just like regular long form videos. I was thinking about that, but I don't know. Yeah, and on a Friday night, yeah. You guys, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys are on a Friday night, tuned in to a dog training live Q&A. That's just like, what is this? Like, what are you guys? What are you guys doing? Dog training nerds, I'm saying. So if we want to see it, all we do is go to the community and look for it. No, it's inside of our training program. So you have to apply to get inside of the program though. So if you click the link, like I pinned it in the chat, the link is pinned, but you can apply on that page. And then if you qualify, I'll accept you into the program and then you can join. But I do applications because I don't like working with just like random people. Like you got to be serious. Like there are people inside the community on here right now. Like we've got Tony and his Pomskis. We got John and Chewy in here. Yeah. Are you still offering the comprehensive training program that you used to offer? Yeah, it still is. I'm gating it behind an application. So you have to apply first. You can't just like join. I did it that way just to protect the quality of the people in the group, because I only want serious people in the group. Just want to say thank you. Discover your channel in January. Got my first dog in June. 3-year golden mix. Really motivated to make the decision. God bless you. Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, shout out to you for being super proactive about training. Not a lot of people are like that. For me, it's morning in Bali. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Theory and core concepts will be fascinating, but I'm a nerd. Exactly. Hey, I'm 70, so my night partying days are over. And you, who's been here for over 2 hours, I know. All right. Okay, guys. So I think we might need to wrap this up now. I'm getting kind of tired, like mentally fatigued. Going through the questions like this in a rapid format is very like it's very challenging mentally. Actually, it's a good exercise. I'm very active at work. We'll be able to train my dogs with your program since I'm an active worker. It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. Oh, you're asking a question. Will I be able to? Yeah, for sure. I think the question is like, do you spend time with your dogs? So if you have a dog, the answer is probably yes. And you probably have free time too, since you're on this live right now, right? And so you'll basically just change what you're doing during your time. So instead of just like watching videos, random videos online willy nilly and watching random dog trainers' lives, like you'll just follow a program. So you'll just watch what you need to do for that week, go out, do it. And then you get stuck and then you post and you ask for help and then we help you fix it. And then you fix it and you move on. That's it. And so you just change what you're doing during your time. And then if you're serious about training, you find time, right? I do, but not full time with my dogs. I'm away from time to time. Will it work? Oh, you mean like you go and travel and stuff, right? And so, yeah, it'll work. You just have to, whoever your dog stays with, just give them really simple instructions so they don't make everything worse. So it might be a little bit slower, but like you get there. How do you teach your dog to entertain themselves safely? Like working up to letting them stay at home outside a crate for hours? Oh, yeah. You just need to. So how I do it inside the house is at first the dog is just in the crate or in their place. That's it. Like literally, there's like no freedom in the house. And then we slowly started giving the dog more supervised freedom inside the house. And then we fix any little things, right? Oh, they're jumping on the counter, fix it. Eating trash, fix it. Eating the shoes, fix it. And it's like, okay, cool. Now they're there. Then once you got that, then you start giving them graduated amounts of unsupervised access inside the house. So once they give them be inside the house and they're really good, then you start testing leaving the house. And you do it for short durations of time. You can set up a camera if you want to spy on them. That's what I like doing because it's funny. You always catch them doing some funny shit. I was serious about dog parks. I realized there is a potential of having bad experiences, but my dog needs to play with other dogs. It's so important. So I'm wondering if it's worth the risk. Any tips? Well, it's always a risk. So it's up to you to decide if it's worth the risk or not. A lot of it is going to depend on your dog. It's going to depend on the park. It's going to depend. Yeah, it depends. It totally depends, right? There are some dogs that like I would never take to the dog park. There are some dog parks I would never go to. There are some that I might go to, right? There are some like I didn't even know these were real. But like there are dog parks out there that are like acres, like fucking acres, like just like trees and like wood. And like you can go on a walk in there and you like might pass a dog. Like maybe. Like it's just like this absolutely massive air. Like that is a lot different than the dog parks I thought were dog parks. Like when I got Orbit, we were living in downtown Seattle, and I thought those are dog parks, like proper. Everybody in the apartment just brings their dogs there, and it's just like flooded. Those are those are crazy. I would never go there. But again, like depends. Like you have to make a risk reward calculation for your dog, and that's not up for me to decide. That's for you to decide your risk profile and your risk tolerance. But what I can tell you though is that a strong relationship with a human will always beat relationships with random dogs. Always. Your videos helped me a lot with my reactive pit bull Doberman mix. A rescue dog locked in a cage for 8 months as a puppy in the middle of the rice fields. Thank you. Appreciate. Hey man, shout out to you. You're the one that did the work, not me. Thanks. Give it a try one more time. Yeah, do it. I mean, it's not a try. Like you commit or don't commit, you know? Go for it or don't. Vanessa, what's up, Vanessa? All right, guys. We've been cooking for like 2.5 hours almost. I think we're going to have to wrap it up here. All right. So if you guys like this, I will probably do these like every week, probably. If you guys like it, if you guys hate it, I'll stop doing it. But if people like it, then I'll keep doing it. And I'll probably experiment with the format. So next week, next Friday, I'll probably open up the live with a bit of theory or like some philosophy, and then we'll riff on that and then maybe do a Q&A at the end. So I'll experiment with different formats and figure out what you guys like. No better way to spend a Friday. Dude, maybe the real strategy is to only do the lives on Friday night. That way only the crazy people join. All the regular dog owners, they won't join. Maybe that's the way to do it. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for asking some great questions. Good night, everyone. Wake up tomorrow, play with your dogs, have a good time. All right. Later, guys. I'll see you next Friday. Oh, stay tuned Monday, by the way, guys. Monday, reactivity tutorial coming in. So stay tuned. All right. See you guys next Friday.